Hello guys, good afternoon. I decided to make another video in English this time in order to try to reach a higher amount of people. I noticed there might not have much Brazilians that had access to wear one of these watches. So and most of the reviews I watched are all in English. So yeah, so sorry if I can't make myself understood by you guys. Just leave some comments below. I might clarify a couple of things if you need. So let's do this. Guys, I've made a video in Portuguese quite a while ago, like maybe 2 weeks ago, talking about this guy here. This is the GPR B1000 from Casio. You see, this is a Rangeman. It's a very big, very nice watch. And I make a quick comparison with my Garmin Tactix 7, right? And I want to do this again. I know some of you might say this is not a fair comparison. We are definitely talking about a very big difference in technology between these two watches. But I don't know if I completely agree with that. Because let's face it, these are two watches that are going to be used during a trail, a hiking, a survival experience you may have. So I think it's nice to make fair comparisons, because I couldn't find on the internet any fair comparison about these two big boys here. Now, there are many reviews talking about this, but I don't think they are fair, you know. I don't think they go deep into how this watch can give you a good navigation experience. So as you may say, the Casio GPR B1000, this is the only Casio watch, this is the only G-Shock with GPS navigation, right? So it does have some functions navigations if you click here in this button. So you can see these navigation features here: navigation, point memo, recall, some settings. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not gonna start because probably I can't get any GPS connection here inside. And here starts my frustration with this guy. The thing is, the GPS navigation of my Tactix 7 is way better, way functional if compared with the Casio. Don't get me wrong, it is a fair, you know, navigation system from the Casio, but the truth is it just doesn't work as good as this guy here. Okay, now you may say, no William, you're definitely not being fair, because you're comparing a watch that was released in 2018 with a watch that was released in 2022. And I tell you no, because by the time this big boy here was released in the market, there was already the Phoenix 6 or the Phoenix or the version before, the Phoenix 5, which has exactly the same navigation functions that this guy here has. Maybe not all the features, maybe not all with the same accuracy, but pretty good. The problem is, this guy here does not give you a good experience at all. I tried to use this already during these 2 weeks that I acquired this, and it takes too long time to get connected. And if you find yourself inside any small cubicle, you cannot get any GPS signal at all. This guy here, even where I am here, which is it's the outside place of my apartment, I can get a GPS signal here. This is very, very good. And another thing is, this guy here, it does create like a trail during your navigation, but actually you cannot use it to guide yourself. You can't. You cannot zoom in and see exactly the trail you did. You cannot see the way you did. You just can't. The maximum zoom it gives you is like a 2 kilometers distance. And there is no indication where you're pointing your watch using this zoom, which is completely different from this guy here. Now, I don't know if you are gonna be able to see these in the video. It seems the light here is not very good, but let me just start here the map so you can see how it looks like. So you see, you can perfectly see an arrow which indicates in which position I am pointing my watch. That seems, it shows you exactly in which direction you are going. So I know where I'm heading. This guy here doesn't show you that. This guy here just shows you a blinking circle and points you to nowhere. Easy as that. And when you try to perform a track back, it doesn't show you exactly where you are either. And when you zoom in into the maximum, it just only shows you an arrow. And that arrow points you into where you started the trail, when you started the navigation system, which is completely different from this guy here. This guy here shows you exactly the path, the way you did until the moment where you need maybe to go back. You don't even need to activate the function track back in this guy. If you only look into the arrow position, I don't know if you can see here, there is an arrow, there is a blue arrow right here. If you only see where this arrow is pointing, you can perfectly find yourself back. You can perfectly do exactly the way you did during your trail, during your activity. This guy you can't. It just points you where you started. It points you in a straight arrow, in a straight direction, just like this. Like, go into this direction. This is where you started your trail. But that's not the reality. That's not how the real world works. You're gonna perform a trail. Maybe you're gonna, go around a hill or something. You're gonna be surrounded by trees, and it is not just giving you the direction where you should go, does not exactly and properly guide you the way back. Here in Brazil, we recently had the situation where a guy got lost in the Pico Paraná. So this is a very famous mountain we have in the Paraná state. I am from Santa Catarina, by the way, but it's close here. And the guy got lost because he misunderstood one of the trails. So he took this fake way, this fake trail, and he got himself lost. Luckily he made his way back 5 days after because he followed the river. So imagine the situation with this guy here. The watch might point you into a certain direction. You know you should follow that direction. But like I said, in a hill, in a mountain, you go like these ways, you go up, you go down, you go here and here, here and there. So this arrow is gonna constantly maybe pointing you in the opposite direction. And it's okay, because like I said, the trail goes like this, But if for any reason you find like a fake trail, you will have no idea where you're going, if you're doing this right or if you're not doing this right. Do you know what I mean? I know it might be a bit difficult to explain, but if you see exactly what you did during the trail, it is easy to follow your way back. It is very easy, because you're just gonna need to follow exactly the trace you made. And remember, when you find yourself lost in the woods, in the desert, whatever, you're hungry, you're thirsty, your brain is not working properly. So it's easy to get frustrated, to get lost, and even get your situation worse and worse. So you definitely need an equipment that works properly. Something easy to see, something easy to track. This guy is not easy to see. This guy is not easy to track. And you need to keep always marking your points. And yes, that could work, you know. So you're making the trail, you're going up, climbing the hill, going up, and just like Hansel and Gretel, you need to leave breadcrumbs, you know. So this guy here is gonna trace you into the last breadcrumb. So yes, it works, but this is not easy to do. This is not easy to ask the system to trace you back to the last and before the last and before the last breadcrumbs you've made, because you record the points. It's not easy. I mean, it's not practical. And again, remember, you are frustrated, you are afraid, you don't have enough food, you don't have enough water. So this guy here works way better. I think Casio could definitely develop something better than this. It's not completely useless, but I would tell you, in a survival situation, I rather prefer to have this guy here, really. The battery should last like 48 hours if the GPS is turned on all the time. I think it gives you a very good window to actually make your way back. This guy here has the positive point of the battery, which is solar charged. So you can actually refill the battery life only with the solar power. This guy you can't. There is this solar ring here, but it only is used to extend your battery life. This guy doesn't. This is actually charges using the solar power. That's the advantage of the GPR. The only advantage, in my opinion. But if I really depend on the system to track me back, to get me out of a very complicated situation, I don't think this would work. Definitely, no, I don't think so. And I know this because I got myself lost once in the woods. I was trailing to make the trail of this Pico da Bandeira, which is it's a mountain. It's the third, if I'm not mistaken, this is the third highest mountain here in Brazil. It stays between the state of Minas Gerais and the state of Espírito Santo. And the same happened to me. Luckily, it was early in the day, and it was before midday. And I followed a fake trail. And I only noticed that I was lost like something around 40 minutes that I was already into this trail. But at that time, I was using this guy here. And I really could make my way back. Because I was not anymore seeing the trail. I was in the middle of this experience, I noticed I couldn't see the peak anymore. I remember that during the trail, I was able to see a cross. Suddenly, this cross was gone, and I'm lost. And then I used this guy here to track me back because there was no one around. I was really alone. If at that time I was using this guy here, I was screwed. Really, I doubted I could make my way back using this guy. And there is another flaw. When you are in a navigation, when you're using the navigation, there is a bar that gets loaded in time. And every time these columns are full, your navigation is immediately turned off. And you need to start a new one manually. That doesn't make any sense. I know Casio has some issues of how allocate memory in this guy, because I read when you enter in the Casio watch app, there is this session that tells the story, how the systems, how the watches were developed. And I was reading about this guy here, and they faced a few issues about how to allocate memory. And maybe that's the reason. Well, anyways, I just would like to share with you guys a little bit of my frustration. I hope this was informative. Again, don't get me wrong, it's a great watch, it's a nice watch. Works in a fair way, yeah, but a way to be very, very far away of being a real survival tool. You cannot rely on this, definitely not, okay? In this one you can, currently there is the Tactix 8 already released, and I know they're about to release the 9th version, which I believe is not gonna, you know, come with a lot of improvements. This one works very, very good for what I do. Thank you guys, thank you for watching me, thank you for this time. It was a long conversation, sorry for that. See you in the next video.